Good morning. I hope you guys can hear me okay. Ah, got the earbuds in, so it doesn't sound like anything in my ears. Can you guys hear me? Let me know. Yeah, Gaslands mechanics, it's not my fault how you interpret a statement like that. Good morning, Triple C. Good morning, same time. Guys, I just need to know if you guys can hear me okay, because it sounds like these things are on mute. So. Let's go in. Hey, so today, we're gonna talk about that mystery box I got. Um, yeah. Hey, Roman. So if somebody could please just in the chat let me know if I have a volume issue or not, because like I said, I can't even hear myself through these, so I don't know if these are engaged or not. Mm. Yeah. So we're gonna talk about my Valaverse mystery box, guys, because it was something that happened on the last live I did that, I was with, 3-star draw on there, and we were oh, good, Roman, thank you. Finally, 1 out of the 4. Yeah, so we were talking about the mystery box, and we hi, Len, thank you. Len, you're new. I'll address you in a second, Len. Yeah, we were talking about the mystery box. I had no idea that Valaverse had a mystery box out. I'm relatively new to the line, and sorry. Yeah, relatively new to the line. I had Trigger, I had Duster, I had Sergeant Slaughter here, and I had a Republic Guard who I threw a figure head on, but I wasn't learning about these the right way. I was buying these used off old figure photographers and whatnot, and not really learning the lore. So after Joe Fest, I finally got my hands on some file cards with the characters I bought and realized there was a whole lore out there. And slowly I've evolved into that Valaverse rabbit hole. So when our good buddy Down South 77 mentioned to me that there was a mystery box and he talked about the price and the contents, I was like, shit, I gotta order one of these. And I did. And I was surprised, A, how hey, hard I made it on myself trying to do that during a live, but B, it was fast. It was a fast turnaround. It was a fast availability, and I can't complain about the shipping that they're using at all. I can only complain that UPS is a complicated mess on their own, but it had nothing to do with coming from Valaverse. Yeah, and that's the thing. The comic series I see on the Valaverse site, I'm trying to find them locally. I realize I can't. I'm gonna have to order these things online, but I'm trying to learn that lore that they've got on there because it's well, I'll talk about the differences between Joe and Valaverse as I see them and give you my opinions on them after I show you guys what we got in the box. All right. So, before I do that, give some time for guys to come in just recently. Okay, I took about a week off after I'd done the review on these guys, the 60th anniversary soldiers. I did a couple retro reviews, and then I took a break because not much was going on. Hey, Shane and Woody, what's going on? And I used that time to try and get more shelving done. As you can see, yeah, this is my bed just over here. Just spatial issues right now. But I took it easy because I knew I had this mystery box coming and a couple of other things I had ordered, and I just wanted to wait. But I did get the call while I was at GameStop. We did get the Raptor figure out too, guys, from Hasbro's classified line. This is a Valaforce review. I'm just getting the one Joe out of the way that we got that guy. And I don't know, man. It's a really great figure for a really horrifically stupid character as I see it, and I can leave it at that. But I don't regret buying the fig. I think it's an amazing fig for what it brings to the table. But to me, this is a Marvel superheroes character, not a GI Joe. But it is tied to the old lore, right? So, quick, who is the main bad guy of Action Force? I know now that it is Carrick, but the differences in the bad guys for Action Force versus the bad guys that we parallel them to in other lines is very different. Carrick seems to be more of a anti-hero than a bad guy in a way, as I'm understanding from what I've read. Um, you can't hear a thing, eh? Is anybody else having sound issues? Because Gaslands is the only one that's telling me he can't hear me right now. Um, there we go. Garrick. Oh, Garrick, is it? Okay. How's that stand? Yeah. Okay. Uh, The Hive, yeah, that's another villains group. That's the Hive, the Swarm. Are they the Swarm? Swarm Troopers, right? They got all these factions here. It's basically a dystopian US, and you guys know I like that dystopian US environment, right? There's things going on, Republic Guard. So the as I understand it, the Union in the States and everything else, it's all a change of power structure and dichotomy. And these Republic Guard are basically your troop builds for this one, and they act as like state forces and things like that. So, okay, sounds and looks good. Okay, perfect. Thanks, guys. So Gaslands, my friend, I'm not sure. I would just have a look at the settings and see, but I'm sorry, man. I wish I knew how to turn on closed caption for you. So just slowly getting into the Valaverse lore, and I start seeing where the stories are going as far as what the file card's depicting. And it definitely helps me formulate a better understanding of where I think Valaverse stands as a collector and as an enthusiast, vice where G.I. Joe stands. They're two really similar toys, but they are apples and freaking oranges just stuck in the same fruit bowl. So the the box, the mystery box, guys, when it came out, you were pretty much assured. You had a list of things you were assured. It was and I wish I had the checklist here. Is it in this box, maybe? There was a checklist I had to go by, and it's not in here. But oh, there it is. This was the checklist, all right, that you got. And this was everything you could expect in your Action Force mystery box. So you got your deluxe item, core item, basic figures. So all three of those were basically figures. A gear pack, a weapons pack, bonus items, ghillie suit, and then hand signed by the person that put that box together. So there was accountability, right? It's not just a machined process. I appreciate little things like this, like somebody handwriting that they've crossed off that list. That's quality control as I see it, boys and girls, and I like that. What else could have been in there but wasn't for me was one of a few certificates from Valaverse for a variant of their Vanguard, right? So they had, I think, the pink muddied version and the tan muddied version. And some lucky guys out there or girls ordered themselves mystery boxes and may have found one of those slips inside. I sure hoped I would be one of them, but I wasn't. And that didn't ruin anything for me. That would be icing on the cake or gravy on the potatoes, man. It was awesome. So I see Gaslands got told to check that. And hey, thanks very much, Woody. Woody's being helpful out there in the comments. He sees I don't have Darren or Aaron with me today, and he knows I'm flying solo right now. They were invited, but I think they're busy. So clearly helped me out in the comments like a good admin. Thanks very much, Woody Triple Two. I love you, buddy. 7 items for 200 Canadian. Not quite. By the time it was all said and done, buddy, I got what was it? It was 140 Canadian. Okay, that was the actual cost with the shipping. So the box itself was $100 and then $40 for shipping. So that was a really good deal for me because getting Action Force up in my region, that's an eBay, that's an Amazon if they're there, and then they're triple the price, or it's ordering through the States anyways, through third-party distributors and paying their shipping and handling, which can vary, right, depending on where they are. Yeah, hey buddy, I'm sorry we couldn't get that done with the acoustics for you, buddy. Do please catch the replay. I value your opinion, man. I really do. You're a fellow Canadian and you're a like-minded guy, and I'm glad that you like your Talon. I'm glad people like Talon. I like Talon as a figure. I just and Gaslands on that review. I'm pretty sure he pulled it up from the G.I. Joe core rule books of an RPG. At some point, they did rewrite Talon, and he provided a very excellent write-up on Talon's new version since 82 or 87, pardon me, in the comments on that video if you guys want to see what's actually going on with that Talon character. But again, this isn't about Talon today, it's about Action Force. But thanks very much, Gaslands. I want to say hi to Axel 6. Good morning. I got a similar box. Yeah, you got the Bone Collector. Cool. And while I'm at it, I should go back. So that's a new member here. Axel 6 is joining us for the first time. Thank you. And I know I saw someone else, Len Scrivenanci. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your names. I just want to say hi to you guys. Welcome to Crow Country, like my channel. And we are going to have a good time looking at these figures. I just tend to like to build my way to it, maybe get a few more people in before I get rolling with stuff. And just kind of explaining why I'm maybe not the most educated guy when it comes to Action Force. And so, if you guys know a lot about this stuff and you hear me say something in the comments that is a bad deduction or an assumption or I got it wrong, you feel free because I'll go through those comments later and I'll educate myself, man. That's great. Hey, something happened. All right, damn, that worked. Okay, so you guys are helping each other out. I appreciate that. So let's roll into some more about the Valaverse stuff. Okay, so yes, I had Trigger, I had Duster, I had a you know, I gave up Pandora to Aaron. I don't know if you guys knew how that turned out, but it didn't go well. But since then, a lot of things have been learned and a lot of lessons came out of that. And I think in the end, if everything gets learned, it's great. But I did get a chance to talk to Bobby Vala after all of that was done about his line and try to understand kind of what it is we're doing out here as YouTube content creators talking about these lines. And actually, a really good video popped up on a Punk with Toys on his Monday Night Ramblings about independent toy companies and things that get said about them, what it actually does, things like that. I recommend anybody go check out that live because it was in the same vein of my concern. If we're going to make YouTube videos and we're going to say whatever we want to say about these toys, we're not bound. It's freedom of speech, but at the same time, what's the harm that can happen of disrespect, creating conflict, creating drama? We've seen it, right? And that harm is it can actually lead to actions against what you think you have the right to do, which is broadcast on YouTube or Instagram and state your opinions. It'll stifle you, right? So I had to think really hard about what I wanted to bring to the Valaverse Joe discussion, and so that's what I was sitting on last night while I was looking at this one that came in the mystery box, Action Force 100, the Bone Collector. Okay, that was a character where I was like, I have no idea how to feel about this guy right now. Um, Impressed? Yeah, sure. I'm absolutely impressed with that bone ram's head, man. I am. Uh yeah, yeah, Gasland's got me covered for info, just like DMACism. These guys are they're my resource. They're what comes after my file card reviews, right? Woody, you got your mail away Condor in the box. Yeah, I'm looking for I want to get the undercover. Is that Condor? Yeah, I'm going after that one next. Yeah. All right. So the big thing with the Bone Collector, everybody was all hyped about. Sorry, I've got a big mess in there. Is his accessories of these of this Gatling cannon, which I had just set aside. Isn't that just like me? He's got a Gatling cannon. I'll put all that together on the side. Before the end of the show, I'll show you all these things put together. There it is. And this mask, right? And I read the back card. So as I reveal what I got in the box, I have to do it in a tactical perspective, right? So if you guys have watched my stuff before, you know I don't do a tactical perspective unless I do a file card review right off the bat, right? And I like the advice in the columns. If I don't highlight it, I know you guys are reading it. You guys are really creative on how you vision these things. I love it. All right, so this file card for our man Bone Collector, our villain. He's like a 2IC. He's like like a general under this carrot guy, right? So as I learned it, his file name under Bone Collector, his file name is Alan Ramsey. He's from Tucson, Arizona. His primary military or his MOS ID, so his specialty is 11 Alpha Infantry or 1-1 Alpha Infantry. Additional skills 8-9 Echo Explosive Ordnance Disposals and 1-9 Bravo Armor Officer. All right, so I was a little confused because I know the American career strains go a bit differently in the military than we do, but this guy's not just an infantry officer, he is an armor officer. So you can put him on a tank. He's basically mechanized infantry, right? So he can handle a vehicle, crew commanding skills, and an entire crew, or he can go off on his own. I thought that was cool, and he's got some EOD quals. So wow. Alan Ramsey was a career armor and infantry officer in the United States Army, trained under the leadership of old school veterans. Ramsay was ambitious and tenacious. He became a disillusioned when the collapse of the Union did not lend to an all-out war. So the Union, and this is part of the Vala dystopian future, I guess, and opted to retire rather than continue to fight. He saw how the military had become corrupted and institutionalized by political inbreeding and looked for an opportunity to put his skills to use. That opportunity came in the form of someone in his past, Carrick. There's our boss, our big bad, right? Having served together in Afghanistan, Carrick was very familiar with Ramsay's reputation and sought his skills for the garrison. I think the garrison is Carrick's villainous group. Taking up the moniker the Bone Collector, Ramsay became one of the garrison's commanding officers and reported directly to Carrick. The Bone Collector completed his missions with a ferocity, as if he were the god of war himself. Although his missions were a success, the Bone Collector had a reputation of not taking prisoners and using brutal methods of extracting information. These tactics often caused tension with Carrick, who ideally wanted to restore the country with less bloodshed. The Bone Collector's villainy would be a necessity in what was to come, right? So great file card review. And this is part of the discussion I wanted to have about the difference between Joe and Action Force, because there's so many similarities. A file card, these action points, which deeply reflect the flag points we had as a kid. What are the similarities? I'll just scroll through here. Right? So is this a copy of anything? No, this is just this is a tribute to what worked back in the day, right? So I bear no malice to the use of a file card. And this is where Valaverse doesn't have a boundary or a restriction or a constraint that Hasbro has tattooed all across itself. And it can make up new lore. It can give you new and updated stories. Hasbro cannot do this with the G.I. Joe line yet because they have started on that tradition path. Anything they do that is new is immediately met with, but that's not how it was, right? Doc never came with that. Well, that's got to be retro then. Things like that have to be bound and restricted to the G.I. Joe line until this new Skybound really takes off and we can accept some new characters in there. Hasbro can't do this. Valaverse can only do this. They can only make new characters. And the challenge for them is to not instantly remind you of a Joe character. So I ask you right now, does the Bone Collector remind you of anything that exists in the G.I. Joe lore? Let's get that question out of the way. I'm going to look right out here. I'm asking guys like Len, because you're new. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. Or Bobby or Gaslands. Any of you guys. Do any of you see a similarity on that? Right? You shouldn't have to fret over 40-year history. You're right. We don't, as consumers, we don't have to fret over it. We choose to. And it's that nostalgia pull because we grew up with, 1980s G.I. Joe. And then we got into our highest income working age and Hasbro got us, right? There we go. There's an honest answer right there. And, but 40 years ago, they came up with this. And now this is what we want, right? We want that back on the 6-inch form to some degree. In fact, if they don't give us that, we're asking why, right? Look at Falcon. How many people, or not Falcon, Raptor over here. How many people immediately hated this character because he was ridiculous to the line, but like me, have him in their hand and go, he's pretty freaking cool, right? But that's about as extreme as they can get. A guy like Bobby Vala and his Valaverse line can get as extreme as he wants because there's no memory anchoring it. And I love that. Anyways, enough about that. To say he kind of comes off as a Dreadnought is as close as I could get as well. To come off as a Dreadnought is to say that he looks Mad Max-ish, he looks dystopian, he looks apocalyptic, violent, all of that. He's using bones and tattoos. By all means. I would set him up with my Dreadnought shelf if I want to place at home with him on my Joe shelf. He probably will end up along my Dreadnoughts, right? There he is with his Gatling gun, and I'll add some attachments as we talk about it. But let's talk about this this buck for a second. All right, so we'll get into the head to toe. There's his head. He's got one of the things that Valaverse has going for them is he's got this particular facial expression, which is a combat relevant facial expression. I am sorry, but I could grab any Joe off my shelf right now, and while I could say they've got great face sculpts, they do not look like they're in combat right now. Um, let's find another random one. Maybe Destro's in combat right now. No, Destro's not in combat right now. What about? Okay. Low light. No, not in combat. Shipwreck. No, not in combat. None of them have these expressions to say they're in the ship, right? These guys do. The problem with that, and I'm just saying it's not exactly ideal, is, if you're going to do it for everybody and make them all different, you're going to spend a lot of money. So you can start seeing a repetition in the expressions that work, right? And then they get dialed in from there. So this is Condor, also came in the set. Next one I'm going to be reading up on. But again, the thing I have about it is Valaverse thankfully has a lot of head options I could add to it, but I have to spend a little bit more, or else all these guys look like they're laughing at a bad Jim Carrey movie, right? As you line them up. So thankfully I have a mask for Bone Collector. I can disguise that he looks like his opponents, but it's cool that they have these war faces, right? The new toy is the toy now is cool. The comic book Raptor kind of blue. Okay, yeah, for sure. Even Bose Kirk said Joe needs to make new figures, new ideas. It'll sell, but they're just, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, beyond getting ripped apart by cemented critics, you absolutely have to make new characters to breathe new life into the line. If you look at any of the Joe characters, 90% of that lore comes from the Vietnam era of experience, right? If you look at Action Force, at least they get the tools to go, let's go modern and do all that, right? So they again, they're not restricted. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm saying the challenge is there for Hasbro to have the freedom of movement that Valaverse has. The challenge for Valaverse is to use that freedom of movement to not instantly remind you of G.I. Joe, right? Wow, it's not easy. Right? And Delta 17's facing the exact same option. I love Delta 17, but how do they make their lore different? And then does Delta 17 come off as Action Force, or does Action Force come off as Delta 17? It's a war toy with a lot of compatibility. You like the new takes on G.I. Joe, so long as there's a spirit, as the spirit of the character is there. There you go, right? Update them, keep that nurture. Why couldn't Snake Eyes and Stalker get an update where they were on patrol in Iraq now, as opposed to Vietnam? That whole keep the origin heart there, but update it so it's relatable again. And a lot of people wouldn't like that because it's dabbling with canon, right? Quick kick, yeah. They have another Bone Collector that has a normal face, and that's what I'm saying. Like, Valaverse spends money on giving you options with heads. G.I. Joe kind of throws them in there, but I am strongly leaning towards Valaverse remembers these guys are fighting a war. And as far as I see it, most of Joe is really just kind of posing for a photo, right? So it's what you prefer, right? Really is. They did it with a Duke figure. It was terrible. Yeah, and give them several wars, man. There we go. So I see a lot of guys kind of agree with what I'm going. Just dropped your into can of Mountain Dew. So Viper's mask into a can of Mountain Dew. All right. See, and Gaslands, this is where we get tricky, right? Yeah. Wasn't it IDW that did the new dial tone as his daughter or sister or something like that? And people were like, whoa, 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 whoa. Right. But same. Yeah, Shane, I'd love to. I had to do that just before here because I'm not going outside anymore to do it. During that, I lose my connection. So let's get into Condor while I finish putting this guy up. Condor, as I understand it, is kind of the leader of the group as I got. Well, I spit all over the place. There's the backpack on Bone Collector. Here's his file card. Right, Daredevil Dave has joined us. That's awesome. Right, so the file card for Condor. This was the second one I got out of the box. Says Condor's real file name is Laird Barnes. I think that's an interesting name. How many Lairds do you know? He's infantry, and secondary skills are in intelligence, right? His birthplace was Dorset, England, and his rank is captain. He's the 22nd Special Air Force Service Regiment, so SAS. While serving as a troop commander in A Squadron 22 SAS, Captain Barnes deployed to Iraq for Operation Crichton. This mission involved his SAS team working jointly with the American Delta Force in a secret war against Al Qaeda and other insurgents based in Iraq. This joint force was codenamed Task Force Night, and they executed takedown raids on militants, bomb makers, and high-ranking insurgent leaders. So we see already we can all relate to this file card much faster because this is stuff that happened within the last 20 or 30 years as far as bringing Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan and Iraq into the conversation, right? During this tour, Barnes formed a strong bond with his mentor, Staff Sergeant Tony Roberts. I wonder, codename Desert Rat. Barnes proved to be a natural special forces leader, and while he was the troop commander, Barnes never allowed any ego to get in the way of the mission objective, and he was more than willing to lean on the advice of his senior sergeant, who had many years of operational experience to draw from. The relationship between Barnes and Roberts was based on mutual respect, and this bond formed the cornerstone of what would become the most effective SAS units to operate in theater. Always ready for a fight, yet cool under fire, the formidable reputation garnered by Barnes and Roberts began to spread, and when the Task Force Night was inbound, they struck fear into the hearts of even the most hardened insurgent fighters. Okay, there's the file card for Condo. Tick, tick. Okay, let's get caught up on there for a second. Right? This, right? Well done, Hasbro. They grew on me more as I had them, but they're already cool. What do you guys think of these hokey dollar store glasses, by the way? Nice and blue, right? Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing about this file card that Hasbro would never touch. Afghanistan and Iraq. The word insurgents in Afghanistan and Iraq, tying anything that would even remotely look like modern events recent, I don't think they touch it because they have stakeholders and they're worried about political agendas and making a statement of having some sort of alignment. It's the main reason I see them not touching October Guard or Hooded Commander or Cobra Commander. Same thing here. I commend the idea that an independent toy company like Valaverse could stand in the face of that and go, no, screw you. I'm absolutely talking about it. I don't care if you take a political agenda or not out of it. These are my toys and I'll build them this way. And this is the story. And I like that they do that. That makes it identifiable to your market. Do you think your market cares that much about what your stakeholders are voting that year? Or do they want their toys, right? Give them their damn toys. So I like that on the file card. That's working good. You guys, one of the things we are going to talk about the 60th anniversary because it does come very comparable to something else, but I'll show you Condor. Condor I liked a lot because he came with a lot of little accessories, the standard hands, head, the mask, the guns, everything like that. But I'm just showing the box today because the point of this buck that I wanted to show you is this is what the most, I think, perfect leadership character of his line should look like. It's very similar to all the other character designs that they have in the line already existing in the plainness of the uniform and how well he blends with his cohorts. He doesn't stand out like a sore thumb, right? Joe has a unique image for every character. They barely blend together, and that's okay. That's their gallery, and that's their thing. But to see these guys blending together the way they do amongst their own line and knowing who's who in the zoo is kind of cool. I like that way they're doing this, right? Lots of different troop options when you do this. So here's Condor's kit that I got. Some of the bone collectors in there, but again, everybody coming with their own stand. But there's the alternate head with a bump helmet that I'm putting together from it. They provide you with all these things. There's his gun, right? Now, I'll say this about Valaverse's guns, okay? They are no better or no worse in G.I. Joe's guns from Hasbro in certain nuances, as I said. They are no better in that after a while, certain designs become repetitious and repeated, and uniformity is there because it's a military line, but you're kind of hoping for something new and you don't get it, right? I've seen that with a few of them, but they compensate for that by having lots of guns available other ways, right? It's known Vala does guns very well, all right? But with the pack coming out the way they do, you get the same amount of weaponries. The details are there on both of them. I think Vala does a better job with their details in that they spend more money, I think, on paints, and they are using a different plastic and a very different plastic, a much harder plastic. You don't hear anybody, I don't think, complaining about Vala weapons being gummy or rubbery with their guys, right? But with that comes, you know, can a plastic be too hard? Yeah, sure. Is this plastic too hard? It's not too hard. It's hard enough. But if I were to apply a lot of too much pressure on this, that's going to snap off, not bend, right? That's just the issue with the gun. So with both lines, you're going to have weapons issues. But I think Vala produces a stronger feel with their weapon selection. Hasbro creates a stronger nostalgia with theirs, right? What's Snake Eyes without his Uzi? What's Low Light without that sniper rifle, right? And these guys, their identity doesn't depend on the gun as much, I don't find. Okay, so I'll get caught up in the chat on there. I do love this schmog, by the way. I love it. But this head, great hair effects. Again, that facial expression repetition, not really my thing. I'm going to be putting the other head on this guy once I get him on the shelf. But I love the details on the vest, all of these things. It's all good. I am doing a tack perspective on them all at the end, just a generalization with the play grades, tack grades, and everything. But I want to move things along. So getting back to the chat, just saying hi to everybody again. All right. That's good. You guys have your own ideas on that. Yep. Okay. Wow. I wish that weren't true, buddy. But when I was leaving, the military was changing to accommodate because woke people won't join an aggressive army force unless you make it less aggressive. Anyways, I'm leaving my political opinions about what's happening to the military out of it because I can. Yeah, exactly, right? You almost snapped your rifle trying to get it in and out of the plastics. Well, it is, yeah. There's middle grounds, right? But Bobby Vala, I've heard him talk about his plastics in a number of different conversations and why they use them and things like that. And as a spokesman for his company, I feel like he's in front of it a little bit better of Hasbro as to why the weapons are the way they are. I think when it comes to weapons, Hasbro's at this point. I don't know. We're still trying. Where in Vala's just kind of like, it's like this because that, right? We'll throw this in, right? I got the winter upgrade pack in there. I'm trying to find the box. This was also a part of it in my mystery box. So Condor has been covered, Bone Collector's been covered. I got that. So this, of course, comes with one of those winter ghillie suits I have kicking around here somewhere. I got 2 winter ghillie suits out of the deal too, right? So yeah, this was I should talk about this a little bit more because of the weapons, right? So you say that your 60th anniversary sniper rifle popped out of the pack and almost broke. So I have not removed anything from this. So right now, I'm going to remove the sniper rifle from this pack. And we're going to see what happened. Don't do it by the brittle end. Yeah, I did it by the brittle end. All right, so nicely set into the box, not locked into the box, right? I set it down into its place. And in closing the box, it'll lock in, but it's tight enough, but it's not locking anything in, not forcing me to bend a rifle to get it out. Of course, I did accidentally just flick that beautiful bipod stand there. Look at that. What's that for? That sniper rifle doesn't go in there. No, that's for something I've been screaming for out of Hasbro forever, which is a spotter's scope because snipers work with spotters and they love their gear. And never once did we see all this yet. I get one instantly in a mystery box when they say, oh, what does a sniper need? He needs that. Okay, no problems. I like this. I like this a lot. And I like how this pod functions. This little bipod functions very well. I take this little lens part off and bickety boo. Cha-chow. Look at that. Not complicated at all to make a folding bipod. Where did I recently say we needed a folding bipod? Something that could collapse a lot easier and not be hard to cart around. I did say something like this. Guys, I'm not doing this to slam Hasbro or to give Bobby a good stroke, all right? I'm saying these are legit good ideas. The ideas that worked, that other people say, you can't do it. Yes, you can. You can absolutely make things function, all right? The question is, who are you listening to? One of the biggest things I will praise Valaverse for, and you've seen it in this, is in not being constrained to a 1980s line. They have that freedom of movement to modernize freely and to base it off experts from the military. Clearly, he's been listening to a few, because you can see it in all of this stuff. There is actual military application and there's function in a lot of it. Okay, quality, I will find it over time. I've heard some of these on the first runs broke. I heard that those problems have been collected. I heard there's issues with this Gatling gun's handle possibly breaking. I'll find all that out on the time, but first impressions, right? As an ex-career soldier in the combat arms, I'm telling you, the kit, right? Let's go down. I'll stop blowing sunshine up the Vala collective there. Yeah, here, right there, right? And it's not like Vala's the only one doing good kit. Of course, Gridiron, Arsenal, Pew Pew, Retro, Top Fun, Toys 3D, 3D printers, like Model Misfits and all them, they have access to it. So Hasbro, like I said, is suffering from their own constraints with the G.I. Joe line on that front. So let's give you another character we got. We got the Republic Guard, right? Little file card, even on her, even on a troop build. I love it. It's great. She's worth 1 action point, by the way. They all have action points. I'll eventually find out what I can spend them on. File names are various, of course. They're all 11 Bravo infantry, secondary and special ops, various birthplaces, and rank affiliation, various Republic Territory Guards. So the way their file card reads is, in the wake of the collapse of the Union, state governors and military leaders faced a dilemma. There were federal military installations and personnel present within their borders and cut off from any formal chain of command. State leadership acted swiftly, converting their respective military units into a Republic Territory Guard, which would be responsible for security operations with the border of each republic. These men and women would conduct security patrols of border zones, both by air, land, and land, and sea. Both by air, land, and sea. Okay. Though forbidden from operating outside the Republic's borders, they could conduct combined operations with neighboring republics if needed. All right. Faced with a new threat in a new era, the Territory Guard are all that stands in the way of freedom and demise. Now, this is the lower priced point figure, clearly. I think it's really cool. And you get very little with this one. You get what you need. You get the character, you get the troop build, heads, hands, and hands, and a single gun. God, I had that all put aside in another bag. I'm falling apart here. Oh, that's right. I had it in here. This is what you get with that one. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Very simple, very low price points, but we've checked off 3 figures off my list and a couple of accessories already. I already feel like I've gotten my money's worth out of that very much. And like I said, the Republic Guard, I had something similar for the Republic Guard, and I used an Origins Baroness head, I think that is, off of it to give that character some different personalities, right? All right, let's go down. Why do you think people have a problem with the modernizing Joe lines? Because there's all types of collectors out there that collect for all types of reasons, all of them good reasons, I'm sure. But some people want the exact replica of what they had, right? Or as close to it as they can get. A lot of people could take a little bit of modernizing, but not a lot. And if you really want to bring some of these characters from the G.I. Joe universe up to speed, it takes a lot of modernizing. I mean, don't take my word for it. Right? Enough. I don't want to keep going back to Joe, but That's hard not to do when you're talking about war toys, right? There we go. Exclusive Pandora. Is that what I should be saving my points for? I'm pretty sure I will. That's fine. I love that concept, right? How many figures came in that box? 4, buddy. Before I talk about the fourth and final figure that I got, let's talk about something else that came in the box, and that's the weapon accessories kit. All right. I got weapon accessories, a foxtrot, all the ones that come on there. I got myself a new sniper rifle with a big old blast effect. I got some purse guns. I got a nice AK. I got a machete. But I'm going to show you my favorite thing that I got out of it on the box. Draw your attention to. I mean, weapon accessory kits are cool. Absolutely, I think Hasbro's losing money by not doing them. 3D printers are making a lot of money, and I have fun painting them. But here's where I give Valaverse credit once more, guys, because they thought things through. You can pose your guys in a firefight all day. Pew, 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 bang, bang, bang. Blasty, blasty, blasty. But eventually, you guys got to change mags. So having some pistols with their action to the rear is a brand new storytelling element on my shelf now that I got with this, right? So I appreciate little things like that. I really do. It shows that people think about the function of a pistol, about the function of combat, about the potential of photography, dioramas, play. They're doing good with the play factor, guys. They really are. All right. So yes, it absolutely is worth it. Triple C as I see it. You might not get your favorite figs, right? Like I wasn't overly hyped about seeing Condor show up when I saw other ones, but when you get them out, I love the fact I didn't pick this. You know, if I were avidly collecting Valaverse or Action Force figures regularly, I might not roll the dice because I'd be like, all right, I'm going to get a lot of figures I already got, right? But as an introduction to this line, only already having very limited supply, it was brilliant. It's a brilliant way to do it. And it's a good way for him to get rid of old stock that isn't moving simply because people weren't enticed to come discover it properly yet, right? I want to find really quickly where I put those. Oh my goodness, what a mess. I must have. Dear. All right, well, I'm frustrated with myself, guys. I got 2 white ghillie suits that I think I left in another box. All right, one was the ghillie suit promised by the conditions of the of course of the checklist. It said we'll give you, and I got the white one with green spots on it. And then, of course, I got the winter ghillie suit that came with the winter upgrade pack, right? And so I have my painted low light that I did up as a winter soldier. I did a ghillie suit for him. I'm going to use one of Vala's on it. It's going to be much better. Snow Job, I'll see if the other one works on that because I don't have any winter Vala figures right now, right? But I wish I had put those somewhere more clearly. Ah, here they are. All that had happened, they fell down. There we go. So, nice winter ghillie suit. Good. I can talk about these now. All right. Now, these are made of little feathers or I don't know if they're artificial feathers. They look like they're artificial feathers. But that's basically what they are. And of course, you got your hood up here and you got your legs and arm bracketing. So this is how their ghillie suit goes on as opposed to what Classified did. We'll pull off hers. We'll just bring her right down. Right? With her ghillie suit, which is a hoop it over, right? Like now, I think that's good segue. We'll just quickly show you that's the other one I got. Good segue to the last character I got, which of course would be. Oh, he's so camouflaged, I can't even see him. Jesus, where'd you go? Here he is. Blowback. I got Blowback. Right? That was the final 4th character I got in there. All right. And so Blowback being their sniper, I've got a lot to say about this one. I've got him in his bag right now, but I'll read you the file card really quick. It says, file name Kent, Adam J. Kent, primary specialty of advanced squad advanced marksman, so Alpha Delta. Uh, Secondary skills: 8-9 Bravo ammunition specialist, birthplace Savageton, Wyoming, I think. And rank and affiliation specialist, Action Force. Adam Kent, codename Blowback, grew up as an only child on a ranch in Wyoming. There we go. Living in such a rural area with difficult parents, it was hard for Adam to socialize. It would not be until his late teens that he would be diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome. The one activity Blowback's father found to bond with him over was shooting. At a very early age, Adam learned to shoot and immediately became proficient. He studied everything about ballistics and could place a shot with any size round to perfection. Sorry, I'm having a thought kick in. I'm sure there's lots of other guys probably thinking it too, but I'll say it after. While giving a seminar for weapons manufacturer, Colonel Siege got to witness Blowback's talents firsthand. Adam's social issues kept him from ever joining the military, but Siege bonded with Blowback and took him under his wing. Colonel Siege would help Adam socialize with the members of his unit by helping teach them to improve their shooting. Siege has protected Blowback like an adopted son, keeping him in every one of his units, including Action Force. All right, so we have a character who right away you think is a military soldier, but no, he just dresses like one. What he is The Accountant by Ben Affleck. Really, if you've seen that movie, it is literally the idea of Ben Affleck in the movie The Accountant. He's a mentally proficient sniper. Like he's got Asperger's. I don't remember if that's what Affleck's character had, but he definitely had some mental condition, and he was a sniper. He was a good shooter, right? So, they've given their personality spin on it, but I definitely see an inspiration from the movie The Accountant to Blowback. But yeah, if I hadn't read that file card, I would have thought he was just another infantry guy that they did well. Now, I tie that in because first you can see that I've got the green ghillie suit on him that he comes with. I compare that to this one. It's apples and oranges, two different approaches, two different solutions to the same problem. But they both suffer from the same issue, and I'll say what it is, okay? To me, this issue is the natural seating of the hood. At all times, you're going to have problems with this, right? It's going to be baggy on the top of your characters without a wire to firm it down and pose it. One of the things I'm going to see if it's a solution is I'm going to poke a little hole or slit here to try and get this to ride down over the radio. I love every soldier on Action Force has comms represented, and it's not a beep, 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 like a Star Trek device, like other lines, but it does encumber that. All right. Blowback came with the same kit loadout as the winter variant in that he got a sniper rifle with all the yummy accessories, and everything I spoke about earlier applies here with that nice case, right? He's got extra head features in there. They're put off in this bag right here. And a big honking sniper rifle I have yet to play with. I didn't have time. But he's got one eye closed. But he's got the head option to do it differently, right? But right away, we all see it, right? We all see that if you wanted to use him as hit and run in your Joe line earlier, you could do the same with him probably, right? But they would look good together. These guys aren't enemies. They play well together, right? But just some coincidence. And I have to wonder if Blowback might have been the deciding factor on how this would get painted down the line, because it worked well. Is it the best cam job I've ever seen? No, it's definitely an intricate cam job for a face, right? Definitely there. But this guy would need a professional makeup artist to sit in the mirror with him and do it this way. Like it's just too clean, right? But I appreciate that it's there. It's exactly what you would want, right? Anyways, so there was your fourth figure. I got Blowback in this, and I like the fact that Blowback is not a career soldier. Blowback was somebody who had unconventional origins, right? And I appreciated it. Do I feel like they're inspired by movies? Sure. But what else are movies going to do but entertain and inspire you? And if you can do a good job of taking that property and turning it into something else, which they've done, I love that. Okay, it wasn't a direct rip, but it definitely could see that source there. Another thing I appreciate about all these is the fact that they do come with their own stands with 4 different pegs, so you can kinda work out your poses the way you different want. Joe Retro line comes with a stand, it's very little, but these guys even put in the little slit for their file cards. I think that's cool. So, is that all I got? I think it was, guys. Did I cover them all? I think I did, eh? Yeah. So, talking about where do I see Valaverse and Hasbro, um, I understand why people feel like maybe they need to take two camps. All right. Hasbro would you would probably think David and Goliath, right? Like Hasbro's Goliath, they're the mega million dollar corporation kind of deal, or $1 billion company. And Vala and all these independents are the Davids, right? And you could make that comparison. You can make it a comparison of Tom and Jerry, right? In the end, they're entertaining us, and that's all we should care about. And the antics they get up to, either it entertains you or annoys you, but it's over. You're still going to buy their product. You're coming back next week for more of their stuff. It'd be all good, right? But where I like to look at it is I see Hasbro and Valaverse like Magneto and Charles Xavier from the X-Men, right? They are really loving their 6-inch passion war Tory line, but they'll go about it two different ways. We get to watch where that conflict yields in new, bigger, badder devices that they pit up against each other in the competition on the shelves. We all reap the benefits. And sometimes it's more like Dwight and Jim, where it's just like, my God, it's so unprofessional. It's funny. Uh, but that's us dramatizing it and causing these people to react. So I don't want to weigh in anymore on the Hasbro and Vala drama because we all know it's there. But after that, then what? Do I think that Valaverse makes a superior toy? I'm sorry, I've been ignoring the chat for a bit here. Um, it is dope. I do think Valaverse is on the road to making a very strong and superior. Well, not on the road. They've well been on the wrong road long since before I got here. But they do make a very strong 6-inch action war toy. And they do a great job kind of building their own universe with it, right? And yeah, you can see the inspiration where Joe was there. And yes, you can pay attention to the drama of what, the creators went through to get there. But at the same time, I respect their own identities, and I will collect both of them for two separate reasons. I collect G.I. Joe because of the nostalgia and the excitement of seeing what they've done with it, right? And I'm going to tell you right now, I have clearly more G.I. Joes now than I ever did as a kid, right? Like little 9-year-old me visits me daily and he looks up on my shelves and then he doesn't say a word. He just sticks up his hand and we high five each other every friggin' day. All right. And Action Force, that only improves that feeling for me. It's putting new cool things on my shelf and what's that new lore? And they do great things with different designs. I'm excited that these two compete against each other. I don't want that to change. I don't want them to become friends again, ever. I think we'd all lose. But guys, that's it. Well, did anybody else in the chat? I know you probably would have chimed in by now, right? But did anybody else in the chat pick up one of these mystery boxes or no more? Like, are they going to be coming available again? Is this an annual thing with him? If you could answer that, because I'd love to say go out and get them again if you can. I would probably buy another one in 3 or 4 months if I haven't filled up, but yeah. But guys, that's pretty much going to be it for today. Like it wasn't going to be a big thing. You bought one, eh, Woody? And yeah, that's right, you did. I at the beginning, right? But does anybody kind of think they might buy one next time if they see it that you never got into it? You didn't know about it until it's too late, right? So here's what I'm going to say, because I know most of you guys out there, and I know you know exactly what I'm talking about the recent, paying attention to what's going on with Vala and Joe. I don't care how other people feel about it. They're entitled to how they feel about it, but here's kind of where I sit at it. Like, don't let it distract you, right? Like, honestly, these are awesome. And I would say if you're gonna pay attention to the drama that goes on between one company and another, go and have a look at those companies and really dig into it because I love the conflict these guys are having. I think we all win when these guys compete against each other. But I do understand why other people have negative feelings about it and all that. I just personally refuse to get on that train. I am going to ride both sides of this fence. Right? I'll have triples of everything. Yeah. Yeah. So guys, what's going on this week is I I am almost done grievances project. The figure's done. All the things are done. I'm just trying it together. So I'm thinking by the end of the week that'll be done. I do have that review out on Raptor. And I'm going to count this as my review on Valor Force, but you're going to see more and more things come up about this stuff as I get more of them. There is an infinite list of little things we could talk about how awesome their kit is and how modernized and military it all is. I just won't go there on the live. I want to do something a little bit more organized for that. But one thing I will say is I did watch the Valaverse's Saturday morning video. They do one every 9 a.m. every Saturday. And one thing you guys might like is go check it out because he's starting to talk about exoskeletons and mech suits. Not about doing them per se, but about where we, the fans, like them, right? So he's looking for some feedback on exoskeletons and suits that you guys like. And he did go through some other lines in the video today, who's tried them and who's done them. And he helped me identify a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle one, right? That I had, and I just stuck my classified. That's been kicking around in the background for a while. And I invite you to visit that idea. Do you want exoskeletons and mech suits in your 6-inch action figure shelf line? If you do, maybe go check out Vala's videos on this particular subject and maybe weigh in because I think it's an interesting subject. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I don't think I would want them for my GI Joe classified line because exoskeletons then would be snake armor. But for a Vala line, 100%, I think that's a great idea. All right. Yeah, absolutely. This one, guys. Okay. Our good friend Tony and Hella Dope Sunday nights. That's tomorrow, but make sure. All right. And guys, I had no backyard battlefield support today because it's the weekend, and I understand that you guys, that you were available today. But if you're part of that replay squad, thanks very much for coming in. Once again, I've covered off the Valaverse set and just my thoughts on it. On a tactical perspective, every time these guys come up, I feel they're always going to be a 4+ on tack. On play, I think they're going to be in that 3.5 to 4+ average on play with their basic kits and what they come up with. But on the je ne sais quoi, I can't say what that other factor is going to be because it's always inspired by modern stuff, I find. And that I feel gives me a bias. So I got to be careful when I'm reviewing these guys because I could see myself getting a little biased with the modernization military aspect of it. But overall, these guys pass muster all day with my book. I like these guys as much as my Joes. And honestly, some of these guys I like a lot better than some of my Joes and some of the more recent ones. So very, very interesting. Yeah, that's it, guys. Valaverse could use small vehicles. Yeah, they could. And a mech suit could be a small vehicle, right? Listen, Bobby seems to be on board with the idea of the Vanguard was a good start point for him to try new stuff. All right. But moreover, and it's been no secret, he wants feedback from his consumers. So go give it to him. If you're into Valaverse, go give it to him. Right. I personally enjoy just kind of passing in and out of the discussion as a neutral party and bouncing ideas off people. That's about it. But some of you guys have some very strong ideas. And I would say that you go onto the Valaverse website and you share those thoughts or go onto their videos and share those thoughts. But that's enough about Bobby Vala and Valaverse and the product I bought from them today. You don't see me talk that often about it. I do have a Vanguard on the way. I'll do a review of that when the time comes. But I'm going to end this one today early because I have a lot of things to play with and set up on the shelves. projects to finish off and finish painting. All right. No, I didn't order anything from Fresh Monkey Fiction. No. A Wave Runner. Yeah. Got to do family stuff. All right. So, yeah, I'm going to get back to it, guys, but it's nice. Like I said, I do love the new Hasbro troop builds, just like you, but I really wanted to get a Valaverse representation on the channel better than what I had been doing. You'll see me picking up more. Thanks very much for tuning in, guys. All the new guys, Axel Six and Len and everybody. Thank you, Replay Squad. Thanks if you pop by, and I will see you guys very soon. Take care.